Hello, everyone. Again, welcome to our GE course, Understanding the Self. So this is your OLC, Janema A. Samiling. So after our discussion, of course, as learners, you are expected to discover the meaning of anthropology, explain how anthropologists do what they do, then lastly, compare the differences of anthropology with other disciplines. So what is anthropology? So when we say anthropology, this is the investigation of the natural and social development and various people over a significant time span. So that could be from past to present. Now, this is also the study of the that aims to look at the differences and similarities of individuals. So anthropology seeks to study, describe the history of people from past to present, or it could be the way of life, the culture of people. So what do anthropologists do? So anthropologists aim to clarify, describe, and explain reality as they make tests and hypothesize about the evolution of humans. So how humans develop through time, okay, is also a focus of what these anthropologists do in anthropology. Now let us move on the development of anthropology. Anthropology is a relatively new field of inquiry that has developed in recent times. Human interaction started a long time ago. Reasons for contact varies. It can be for trade or barter, acquiring land, property, extension or power, or even spreading religion. The study of anthropology deals with the similarities and differences of these connections. So as I made mention a while ago, it's through anthropology that we can also go back, okay, to the past and be able to study human beings through time from past to present, be able to know the culture, the way of life of people through time, and also learn from the past and be able to adapt or maybe develop all these things, okay, to the present time. So it's into the study of the similarities and differences of all these connections. Now we have here the anthropological perspectives. So this is a basic tenet of anthropology, and the basic tenet of anthropology would be culture. So culture should be perceived in a vast context to comprehend the interconnectedness and interdependence of humans. So this perspective would allow people to understand, appreciate, and respect different cultures. So this is one of the basic tenet, okay, that should be studied in anthropology, which is culture, the way of life of people, and be able to, of course, learn from their culture, respect their culture. Now here are the subfields of anthropology. So first we have physical, second we have archaeological, third we have linguistic, fourth we have cultural, then lastly we have applied. So the first one is physical anthropology. So physical anthropology is sometimes referred to as the biological anthropology. And this deals with the advancement and assorted variety of individuals. So this is also focused on studying fossils and remains. Okay, fossils are remains of both human and non-humans. So it could be humans and animals or other species to understand and provide answers to the biological evolution of species. So it's through physical anthropology that we can also learn, study human and non-human species, the evolution, okay, of the species, okay, and of course try to look into the development of how they evolve, okay, through time. So you call that as physical anthropology. So it focuses more on the tangible. For example, the bones, okay, could be used in physical anthropology and be able to study it and then learn how this particular species or creature was developed through time. Now, they work also comprehensively on these three noteworthy issues. So for physical anthropologists, they work on human and non-human primate advancement. So as I made mention, the evolution of man, the evolution of non-human creatures or species. Then we have also significance of human race and its advancement. So maybe the way of life, okay, or how the people live, okay, through time. Then lastly, the natural basis of human conduct. Even the behavior of humans can be studied through physical anthropology. Second, we have archaeology. So archaeology is focused on the study of material remains in an attempt to describe the behavior of humans. So it studies material remains in order to describe and explain human behavior. So if we would like to know the behavior of man through time from past to present, then it's through archaeology that we can also do it and be able to describe the behavior of humans based on this artifacts may be made or it could be the remains, okay, that were excavated or the data gathered, okay, from all these excavations. Third, we have linguistic anthropology. So this is based on the word itself, linguistic. Okay, so that would mean language. So this field of anthropology aims to study different human languages. It is an attempt to give a description to a language, focusing, for example, on the way sentences are constructed. And this also aims to discover the history and evolution of language and how language is used to convey messages in different cultural settings. For example, the alibata being written on a piece of or a scrap of wood, maybe, okay, that could be used in linguistic anthropology, or it could be the Hebrew sentences, messages written or carved, okay, or engraved on stones or rocks, okay, during the earlier times that they were able to discover, okay, at present time. Fourth, we have cultural anthropology. So, cultural anthropology focuses on the study of various forms of human behavior, human thoughts, and human feelings as it aims to discover different patterns, and its subparts focuses on ethnology and ethnography. Now, cultural anthropology, from the word cultural, okay, then it means that this focuses on the study of the culture, okay, so how the people in a certain society or community live their lives. So maybe the anthropologist would look into the pattern, okay, of how they were able to survive, how they were able to live, okay, through time. Now, in order for us to understand this kind of anthropology further, then let's define culture. So, when we say culture, this is a society's shared and learned ideas, values, and perceptions, which are used to make sense of experience and which generate behavior and are reflected in that culture. So, it is a society's way of life. So, to simplify, it means our way of life, how we live our life, that is already culture. Now, in order for us or for the anthropologists to study culture, of course, they do also field work. So, sometimes referred to as location search, whereby the method of investigating culture by direct participation by studying and immersing in the day to day life of the people. So, for these people to study culture of this group of communities, then they have to immerse, okay, themselves. So, do immersion, try to experience their way of living, how they survive every day. Okay, so that is through fieldwork. Now, how about ethnology? Now, in ethnology, this is the study and analysis of various cultures from a comparative and or historical viewpoint, using ethnographic accounts and developing anthropological principles that would aid in explaining similarities and or differences between groups of people. Now, in ethnology, from the word ethnic, okay, so the anthropologists would look into the similarities and differences of the ethnicities of people or the ethnic groups. Let's say, for example, how the culture, okay, would differ with that of the Igorots and with that of the Ifugaos. Okay, so that can be an example for ethnology. Now, how about cultural resource management? So this one is a branch of archaeology connected with government strategies for the safety of cultural resources that usually involves surveys and excavations of archaeological and or historical sites or remains that is a threat with the advent of structural innovations or redevelopments or developments, I should say. Now, this one is connected with the government, wherein the role of the government is if there would be an excavation in a certain area or a community, maybe, then they have to make sure, okay, that the people there are safe and protected during the excavation or during that particular project wherein there would be excavation for them to study fossils, maybe, or remains or anything that they could get from that particular location. Then the fifth one, applied anthropology. So this one, okay, it focuses on the actions. Okay, so in other words, the applied anthropology is anthropology, okay, in action. So this is characterized by utilizing and applying different techniques and hypotheses of anthropology for the benefits of society. So as they do a certain movement, certain project in a particular area, then this project should benefit, okay, the society. It should benefit the people. That's why it's called applied anthropology. Now, how do anthropologists do what they do? So let's find out. So anthropologists do what they do, okay, by first, of course, they use it as an approach to humanities. So anthropology can also be used as an approach or a technique in humanities. So let's find out later on. Then second, anthropology as an approach to science. Then lastly, the comparative method. Now let's take a look at this one by one. Now, anthropology as one of the humanities, it says here that the rounded and comparative standpoint of anthropology has directed to many insights on human downsides and accomplishments, flaws, and magnitude that allows us to think about the shared involvement of being human. So, in other words, anthropology as part or as one of the humanities can happen, okay, through the achievements, it's through the outputs, results, okay, of this process in anthropology. Let's say, for example, a particular piece of art that was excavated or that was maybe got from this particular period of time in the past, okay, so that is already okay a form of an art, okay, so which is still under humanities, wherein there is this involvement of being human, that during those earlier times maybe uh, the people there were very creative and artistic. Now, how about anthropology as a science? So, as a science, the view of anthropology as being empirical in nature, which is based on human observation of the environment rather than relying on faith or intuition. So, since science, okay, then basically the method would be the human observation. So, they would just simply observe how the people live, okay, in that particular area, in that location. Okay, then try to study it, be able to come up with their hypothesis, maybe assumption they would conclude out of this observation that they did. Now, in order for them to do the observation method or use anthropology in science or as an science, yeah. So let's try to define first, okay, these terms used in science. First, we have theory. A theory is a justification of natural phenomena held by a dependable data. So as they do it in science, of course, if they are into the study of man, okay, and man's behavior, then this can also be done through theory, wherein the gathered data, the gathered remains, maybe fossils, okay, from the past, okay, could serve as a data, and then out of this data, then they have to come up with a theory. Then we have also hypothesis. So hypothesis is a cautious description of the relative connectedness between certain phenomena. So they would hypothesize out of this gathered fossils, remains, or anything that they were able to gather from the past, or come up with an assumption based from this gathered data. Now, how about comparative method? So anthropologists' comparative method in utilizing, okay, the scientific methods, okay, of other scientists, okay, they would use the hypothesis in order for them to arrive with this at proposed theories. So this is done by making comparisons between people examining their past and present culture, or by comparing related species through their remains or fossils. So comparative method basically uses also other techniques used by other scientists. And then these techniques would be applied. Okay, it would be applied in order for them to come up with their hypothesis or assumption out of this gathered data. Okay, and be able to come up, okay, with the explanation of this theory, maybe. Okay, so that's how they do the comparative method. So from the term itself, comparative method, so they would just simply look into the similarities, okay, or maybe the differences, okay, maybe try to describe past with that of the present. Okay, so that's how they do it. Now, how does anthropology compare to other disciplines? So anthropology is concentrated on interconnectedness and interdependence of human experience in the past or present. So I keep on mentioning about past and present, or past or present, a while ago. So that's anthropology. Okay, so you look into the history. So you go back, okay, at the past, and then try to study it through time, then at present. So this holistic approach enables anthropologists to understand and deal with the issue of globalization. So let's try to see how anthropology is really related with that of globalization. So when I say globalization, it speaks about the interconnectedness of humans in a worldwide setting. So it's global. So it is evidenced in global activities related to natural resources, human employment, investment or economics, data or information, communicable diseases, and trade properties. The forces that drive globalization nowadays are technological in nature. So when I say globalization, a good example of this would be the building of highways or roads, or it could be the bridges, so that we can be able to travel from one place, from one nation to another. Okay, so that's globalization. Or it could be the process of import and export, or exchange of products, or it could be exchange of manpower. Now, in order for us to end this session, okay, I have here a quote from Clyde Clarkhon. So it says here, anthropology holds up a great mirror to man and lets him look at himself in his infinite variety. So in other words, okay, it's through anthropology also that we can be able to learn our history, our identity. Okay, that's why it's also important that anthropology is really included as part of understanding of ourselves. And that ends our session. So I do hope that you were able to get something or you learn many things from this topic, anthropology.